Alumo's guidance on programming Sunsynk system mode. So you've made the best decision of your life and purchased your Alumo Sunsyk device. To get the best out of your inverter, you should understand how to use the system mode. It should be easy, right? Unfortunately, the settings can be confusing. Don't fear, we are here to help make it easier. Firstly, let's find out how to get to the system mode settings from the inverter. Step 1, we navigate to the home page and click the settings cog icon here. Step 2 is clicking here on system mode. Now, understanding the system mode settings on tab 1 might seem confusing, but never fear. We are here for you to walk you through it. The best way to describe this page is a battery charge and discharge schedule. 1. There are 6 programmable time slots for battery charge and discharge. A discharge start and end time can be set in each here. 2. Here we can set a limit to the maximum battery charge or discharge power at any moment during the corresponding time slot. 3. This value sets the state of charge the battery will charge or discharge to. This can be programmed as either a percent or voltage value, depending on how the display choice was made for state of charge (SOC) in battery settings. 4. This checkbox is used to select the source of power to charge the battery. If left blank, only solar power will be used to charge the battery. If the grid and/or gen is ticked and there is sufficient solar power available, solar power will take priority over the grid and generator to charge the battery. 5. This setting switches the schedule on and off. With the schedule off, the inverter will automatically charge the battery to 100% SOC using power in the priority of solar first and then grid. It is important to remember that if the grid is lost, this schedule is ignored and the inverter supplies power to load automatically in the following order of priority: solar, battery, and lastly generator power. If solar is insufficient to supply the load, the battery will be used to supplement it. Now let's move on to the second tab. This page defines the settings for battery and solar power export control. 1. Tick this to prevent any power exported to the utility grid from surplus solar or battery power. If an SSEG agreement is in place allowing the sale of power, zero export can be unticked. 2. Take care with this setting because if it is ticked, any surplus solar power will be exported to the utility grid even if zero export is ticked. Surplus battery power will not be exported to the utility grid. 3. Tick this to limit solar and battery power delivered to the load side or essential circuits of the inverter. 4. If the battery or solar is supplying a high load which stops suddenly, there is often a small delay for the inverter to scale back power, causing a momentary export beyond the CT coil, even if zero export is ticked. The CT coil is a sensor supplied with the inverter to measure the power supplied or drawn from the main utility grid to the property. Grid trickle feed instructs the inverter to always pull an amount of power from the grid as a buffer. The more sensitive prepaid meters have a tendency to trip if this value is too low. 5. This value is used as an inverter power throttle to load or grid. If set too low, the inverter may give an overload error code. In normal circumstances, we set this to the maximum. 6. This is the solar power priority setting. If it is unticked, solar will charge the battery as the first priority and then supply loads. Vice versa if the setting is ticked. Once again, it is important to remember that if the grid is lost, the schedule is ignored and the inverter supplies power to load automatically in the following order of priority: solar, battery, and lastly generator power. If solar is insufficient to supply the load, the battery will be used to supplement it. Lastly, let's look at the desktop and iPhone or Android app. All the settings described so far can be programmed from the Sunsynk desktop or phone application. The layout may appear a little different, but all the concepts remain the same. We hope this video will help you understand the system mode settings better and grow from strength to strength with your Alumo Sunsyk system.